Hello and welcome everyone to Anfield Road TV. It is the opposition preview show. It's me and Kev, the usual crowd, but you know a very familiar face on the channel. And for any of the audio listeners, obviously we've got my good mate Jay from E20 Zone TV. It can be found on all socials, so please do head over. If anyone's listening on Spotify or YouTube, the link to all the channel links and socials are in the description. So please do head over, show your support and love to Jay. As I said before we come on air, mate, from everyone from Anfield Road TV, me and Kev, hope you had a very happy birthday this weekend, mate. I know you were celebrating. Will you be hoping that you do get a present Wednesday night? Your Hammers travelling all the way to obviously Anfield. What's your expectations going to this game, mate?
Positive for once, I must admit. I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. I think the game the other day for Liverpool sort of determines what team they're going to put out on Wednesday night for me. I think if Liverpool would have won against United yesterday, then I think Liverpool would have went a bit stronger against us. I don't think Liverpool will be as strong as they would have been. Do you know what I mean? Because especially with Arsenal at the weekend. But yeah, listen, we're in a good place, West Ham, at the minute. Really are.
Yeah, happy days, mate. Obviously, I spoke to you a couple of months ago this season already. Obviously, you asked for me insight in Mohamed Kudus anyway. Off the back of this weekend, Paqueta, off the back of a hat-trick of assists as well. As Kudus and some of your new signings off the back of last season, have they started to hit a good run of form at the right point in the season?
Kudus looks special, mate. He really does. Yeah, he looks like a different player, like a different level player that we've had. He reminds me of Dimitri Payet, as in not the same style of player. Don't get me wrong, but the impact at present. Every time he plays, he looks like he can score. He's got pace, power. He holds the ball well. I remember him at Ajax, and I remember watching him at Ajax and thinking what a player that he could be. And when we grabbed him for £38 million, it was a bargain. Absolute mental price, really. But since he's come to the club, his debut was on September the 1st, so he's only been here, 4 months, really?
Yeah.
For me, he's just unreal. It's just unreal. And as I saying earlier on Twitter today, it's only the beginning, and he's going to get better and better.
100%, mate, 100%. Chat, we'll get through a couple of live comments for the audio listeners anyway. Big up to everyone that is tuning in live. You're absolute legends. Hope you're all well and a good start to your week anyway on a Monday. But Russell, I've been saying since the start of the season we need right wing depth. Yeah, Russell, we'll speak about that in the week, mate. But big up, mate. Massive thank you for jumping on. Obviously Russell just speaking about the results and the draws, mate. I do agree. Draws against Luton, yeah, it's disappointing, mate. Ideally, I think even Jay with the West Ham crowd, the results are disappointing. But come the end of May, hopefully both sides are higher up the table anyway, from both of our points of view. Anyway, big up there, Tom. Big up Henry as well. Panov, how are we doing, gentlemen, ladies as well? But yeah, everyone's just fuming, as you can tell, Jay, off the back of that board draw last night anyway. Kev, expectations, or what have you made of West Ham this season? Obviously the loss of Declan Rice. I was speaking to Jay early on in the season, and Jay knows my admirations for the big lads anyway. I would have loved him at Liverpool. How have you how do you think you've coped without Declan? And obviously Souček, I'll ask Jay in a little second. I think he's gained a bit of form that we did see since he come in the early stages of West Ham career. But Kev, what have you thought of West Ham's start of the season?
You know, they West Ham were doing very well in the league up until they came to Anfield the first time around there a couple of months back. Was it 3 months ago? And they were flying, and then that's when the kind of little dip came from. But I was at that game, and it was, Curtis Jones probably had his best game all season in that game. He was very good, I like the look of Kudus. I like the look of Paqueta. Jared Bowen, he's a workhorse. He does, exactly what it says in the tin. We were linked to him there the last couple of seasons. I said, I would take him on. No hassle if Salah ever left, but unless Salah leaves the club, we're never going to get a right winger in, And but I've been more surprised what West Ham were doing, or where they are this season in comparison to what they did last season with winning the European trophy. And so, I thought there'd be a bit of a drop off from this season and more concentrating, and especially in Europe. But there hasn't it. There's just been little dips. They've been doing well. This is a cup competition, lad. So for me, I mean, you look at that final going back in the Gerrard final in 2006, was it? And it doesn't matter what kind of team you're playing and what kind of form, and it's a cup game. All that kind of form goes out the window, and it's whoever plays in the night. I think West Ham will come strong, and I think we'll play strong. And I know Jay was saying that that we mightn't have played too strong in this game, but we had a week off with all the lads just before this game against United, and it looked like they were still asleep from the holidays. So I think Klopp is going to play him and punish him for the next couple of games. I think that he'll play a strong enough team on Wednesday, and he'll play his strongest team that he can play on Saturday against Arsenal. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a great game, and it's a
proper game.
It's a great I like West Ham. They're probably my favourite London club, if I was to call them that way. Old school London club, East End, and all that. But it's a good club, man, and I'm looking forward to the game. I'll be at it myself. I'll be there I'll see you at it, and I'll be there for Arsenal as well on Sunday. So it should be a good one.
Yeah, chat. Keep on getting your comments in, and we'll read them out at the back end of the show. And want to get as much info off Jay, because I want to get his perspective. Really, Jay. In terms of, I did allude to Souček there as well. Speaking to you last season, it seemed like I love him as a player. I think there's a better player to come out of him. It's just inconsistency, really. How's his season been? Because I think would you say it's been up and down, or has he massively improved off the back of the disappointing year he had?
Really? It's been mad, really, if I'm being honest, because he was scoring loads of goals at the start, and then he's gone a bit flat recently. The problem is with Thomas Souček, if he doesn't score, he doesn't really do a lot else. That's the only problem. You've got one of them players in there who's like, he's a threat in the box, in both boxes, like for defensive and attacking, like set pieces and everything, which is perfect for James Ward-Prowse. But as a midfielder, I don't buy it, really. I think Alvarez comes in, and since Alvarez has been at the club, I think you just look at him, the way he's sort of been trained by Ajax. He's a very technically good footballer. And with Souček, that's the thing what lets him down. Mixed bag season so far for me. I think he's done okay. If I was rating him so far in the season, I'd probably give him a 6, maybe a 7. Right, I think he's been all right. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes he can go missing games.
Yeah. You mentioned obviously a couple of new signs. Who's really stood out for West Ham this season, mate, in terms of the big performance? I think we've already mentioned to Jared Bowen in the 16 starts in which he's had in the Premier League. Jared Bowen obviously getting 10 goals, 1 assist. Obviously, we know the qualities he does possess, but has there been any players in terms of that squad that Liverpool really need to keep an eye on Wednesday night, and you anticipate to really have we've mentioned Kudos, but is there one that might go under the radar, a couple that might go under the radar?
James Ward-Prowse is a player that I'm going to be honest, no one really sort of looked at in the summer, and West Ham sort of went in for him and got a pretty good deal out of it, really, £30 million for him. He's been a good signing for West Ham for what he brings to the side. He's been sort of pushed a bit further forward now, where he's going as a number 10 a little bit, and he's sort of like pressing with Bowen and everything. He's been a very good player. I think all the new signings have done their bit so far this season. I will say that. But Jared Bowen, for me, he's always been the man I fear that Liverpool could come in for and get if Salah ever went. That's the one I discussed it with you back in, I think it was October or September. Yeah. I said to you, if Salah was to go and Liverpool get a lot of money, I think Bowen they would look at straight away. Like, he's British, he's got he's on the British quota, but he signed a new 7-year deal, and I think he wants to stay at West Ham for the rest of his career. I think he's he's concrete, he's happy, he's got his family here and everything. But I would say Bowen this season has been unreal. Like, I think we've been missing a striker to a point, and we've had Mikel Antonio there, but he's been hot and cold. But one thing with Jared Bowen, he will give you 100%, and he's consistent, and he's in the goals every other week near enough. So it's always good.
What would you say is I think me and Kevin spoke about this off air about Jared Bowen. What would you say his best position is? Because I think with the game last season when he played City, played down the middle. So is he on that right-hand side, or is it just dependent on the game?
I think it's
Which
all, I think it's your preference, really. It's what you prefer in a player. For me, him up front, he presses very, very well. He's one of our best pressers from the front. And the one thing Mikel Antonio doesn't do enough of is press. Yeah, he'll bulldoze his way through defenders, and he'll be rugged and determined and everything. Doesn't press enough for me. And with Bowen, he does. He's relentless in that aspect. On the right hand side, what I've noticed is him and could seem to switch round. Like one will go centre forward and one will go on the right, which is good. It's a good bit of flexibility. For me, the role is new for him as a striker, but I do like him there. I think he's a natural born finisher. I remember him at Hull. He was a good player at Hull. He come to us. He's scoring goals from the right. If we can get him through the middle with players like Paqueta feeding him, anchored us to a point, then he's going to score goals there and all. So I'll take either position, but at the minute, for me, I think we need him at centre forward for me.
Yeah, he's setting them up nicely, Jay, by the sounds of it for us in a couple of years. Getting him a depth in those forward positions. Kev, is there any questions you want to ask, obviously, Jay, from a West Ham perspective, really, and the squad and everything?
Yeah, no, my thing was the inconsistency from West Ham in the last few weeks. I mean, you go and you kind of beat Spurs, at the end of the game, and then right at the end of the game, and then the Fulham game must have been an absolute disaster for you. But that came out of left field for me. I didn't expect that kind of result at all. I thought West Ham would walk all over them, to be honest with you. But you got a tough run of games coming up as well in the next few games. I mean, it's us obviously on Wednesday, but then you've the same run that we just had there, which is United and Arsenal. So are you hoping to kind of push for like the top 6 positions? Or are you just kind of I know every team wants to kind of push there, but do you think you'll have enough by the end of the season, or are you going to like by in January? Is there any inclination of that happening?
I think for me, West Ham has to finish in the top 10. Yeah, anywhere in the top 10 is good. Is good for me. Yeah, to expect us to go top 6 with the likes of Newcastle, Villa, the way they're going at the minute, Spurs, it can be done, but then we're going to have to sacrifice maybe 1 or 2 competitions. And I like the Europa League run. I think West Ham have done the last sort of 3 months perfectly, really. Obviously, the Fulham game was an isolated incident, but I did think West Ham was due a good hiding at some stage against the side. Like we was getting away with it in certain games. Like Burnley, we got away with it to a point. Crystal Palace, we was poor in that game. We got a draw. So I think we're doing all right. I think for me, any cup competition this year is the one for me. And our top 10 finished. Now, if we can finish 7th and get to a final of a cup competition, I'm over the moon with that. I really am. I don't think we're going to push like top 5 or top 6. I think we're going to run out of steam. And when AFCON comes round in January, we're going to lose Kudus, Aguerd, and a few others. So that's going to affect us also. So for me, top 10 and try and get to at least a semi-final or a final of a competition. If we can get to the Europa League semi-final like we did a few years ago, I'd be happy with that. I really would.
I have a sneaky feeling that I've had it for a couple of weeks. Liverpool, West Ham might get each other in the Europa League in a couple of weeks' time anyway. Obviously, once we get hopefully both of us get past the next rounds anyway. We know the draw was today. That's if you look at some of the teams going before the day. Apologies, chat. There's a lot of quality coming in. David Moyes, Jay, it has been a theme in recent years. You've asked me, I think he can get better from what he's got in that squad. He's not the most Pep Guardiola type style manager, but he's very much defensively resolute. How do you anticipate David Moyes to approach the game on Wednesday night? Obviously, you as a neutral probably watched that dross from Manchester United last night, but it's effective football. We get not everyone's going to open up against Liverpool. How do you anticipate from a tactical aspect David Moyes to approach it? Will it be a back 5? Will it be a 4-3? Do you think David Moyes
might go a bit more
attacking? Yeah,
I want to see him go for it in this game because this is a one-off game for me. I think if West Ham can get past Liverpool on Wednesday night, there's a chance to win a trophy here. Right, it's there. Do you know what I mean? The problem is with David Moyes, it's very like political in the West Ham community at the minute. On the one hand, you've got a lot of fans who back him all the way to the bank and say like, look what he's done. A lot of other fans turn around and say that he He's done what he can do. He's hit his ceiling. There's nothing more he can do at the club. And then you've got people like myself who are sort of a bit torn in the middle, where I can understand what they're saying from the football aspect, but you've also got to look at it's the best moment that we've ever had in the Premier League era for me. I want to see him go up to Liverpool on Wednesday and attack the game from the front. I don't want to see a repeat of what happened in the Premier League game, where we just allowed you just to have the ball, do what you like, score, and then in the second half we just fell away. Do you know what I'm saying? And you just took advantage and put us to the sword. So I want us to have a go in this one. If we're going to lose this game to Liverpool, I want us to go down fighting, not just go down on the whimper. But I don't know why. I look at West Ham over the last 2 games and something is clicked in there, like the Freiburg game and obviously the game against Wolves yesterday. If we can turn up Liverpool with a strong side, because I think he will go strong in this game, and we can get the result, then he might get some more credit that he deserves, really.
Yeah, 100%. Big up there, chat as well. Keep on getting your comments in. I think it was a couple of the chat mentioning transfers, Jay, in terms of the January transfer window or the next 12 months. Chat's alluding to any transfers that you'd anticipate or you'd like to see, any areas of improvement on this in this squad for West Ham?
We need a striker. That's the first thing. We've got a young lad who's sort of coming in, playing. I don't think he's ready yet. You can't rely on Jared Bowen to do it every single game. Like, if we're in 4 competitions, he can't do it all the time. So we need a centre forward. We need a right back. I think Kyle Walker-Peters at Southampton's being linked to West Ham a little bit with a little exchange deal for Ings going the other way, which will be a really, really good signing. I think we need a couple of players. And obviously, well, we've mentioned it before, like, we don't kick off the Europa League campaign again till March. I think it gives us enough time to get players in, get them climatised to West Ham before we get to that sort of March sort of fixture. So, yeah, I want to see West Ham go for it this time. 2 years ago, they was in the sort of Europa League again, got to the semi-final, and they just didn't have enough to get to the final and get the job done. I want to see West Ham spend some money or even bring in at least a couple of loans, decent loans, and hopefully push us on. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%, mate, 100%. Kev, we'll get to both sets of starting 11s, mate. We'll get Jay's thoughts on the starting 11 he anticipates to play. But from a Liverpool perspective, Kev, as we alluded to at the top of the show, do you anticipate, well, I think both of us anticipate Liverpool to go strong. I want us to go strong, as Jay said. It's a one-off game. You want to be, because you look at the teams who are left in this competition, you've got the likes of Everton, Newcastle. I'll tell you what, Newcastle hated this round of draws. They've already played City, played United, now they're playing Chelsea. But you'd like to hope that Newcastle would beat Chelsea, saying that both teams be a difficult game for either of our sides to play them anyway. But Kev, in terms of your starting 11, do you anticipate Jurgen Klopp to rotate, or who you?
No, I think he'll go strong. Yeah, I think I think he'll go strong. I think we need to play ourselves back into form after that dismal display yesterday, and I think that he's going to want to play him into form and come to Arsenal. I think he thinks they need more match time, especially when they're missing. What is it, like 10 days? When you think of the 9 days, when you think of the game previous to bringing on the young fellas and stuff like that. Yeah, I think he's going to play a strong team. I think West Ham will play their strongest 11. I think Liverpool will play their strongest 11, and I think you'll see a much better game than what we did yesterday. I can tell you that. So I'm hoping for that. But yeah, I think so, man. I think Núñez needs to play himself into form for goals. I think Diaz needs to learn how to cross with his left foot. I think people are reading him too easy the last couple of weeks because he's constantly, like, he was able to twist and turn for a long time, but recently he's just constantly cutting back on his right foot, and it's annoying the crap out of me. Gakpo peed me off a little the other day or yesterday because of his selfishness and not passing the ball off. Joe Gomez, I don't care if Joe Gomez has never scored for Liverpool. He had a better chance to score a goal wide open by striking it across goal yesterday. And Salah another time, and all he wanted to do was shoot Gakpo. So he annoyed me yesterday for the first time in a Liverpool shirt.
So who would you go for your starting 11 then? Straight
away, do you know, I would try and play the lads at the farm. So can I put Jota in there injured? But like no, I would I know I would start the strong. I would actually, you know what? Because people were giving on about Endo the other day, but I thought he had a good game against United. I thought he was only one of the bright, shining ones that were in the team the other day. I thought a lot of the other lads left him down, especially on the right hand side. I thought Szoboszlai was poor. I thought Salah was poor. I want to play the start at the strongest 11, so I'd start Ali, Trent, Kanate, Verge, Tsimikas. Although you could stick Joe in there. Joe's been fantastic the last few weeks. I'd actually like to see a 4-4-2 kind of style this time. If I had my pick, I would stick Trent in midfield and put Joe Gomez right back. I'd say Szoboszlai. McAllister's not back for this one yet, is he?
I think so. He should be.
If he is, he'll only get 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
So him, Gravenberch was okay the other day when he was playing. I'd start him. I would go Diaz, Nunes, and Salah because I think they need to play themselves into form. I think they need to find a feeling game. Like Nunes will always try and find Salah, but the problem is Salah was just too deep against United the other day again. And Sharp at the start of the game just disappeared out of it by the end of it. So yeah, that'll be my starting 11. I would start the strongest that we possibly could.
Yeah. That's what's on there. Chat, I've got a show planned for Nunes. Last year, straight into it, from a neutral point of view, what do you reckon of Darwin Nunes? Like, he's dividing our fan base at this moment in time. Like, and obviously for regular viewers on my channel that watch me and my thoughts, I wanted to bring this lad in, but it's like. And you can speak from experience as well. You have had Scamacca, you have had numerous strikers that have come into the football club. Sebastian Haller, big money from Frankfurt a couple of years ago. What's your thoughts on how well or the performance of Darwin Nunes?
It's a very hard one, Jack, because he always seems to turn up the score against us. Every time he plays West Ham, he always seems to score, or he always keeps us ag. The problem is with Darwin Nunes is that West Ham were linked with him before Liverpool, and West Ham were looking to get him before Liverpool. But Liverpool obviously got wind of that, got in there, give him the money, and basically got into Anfield. As someone who sort of watches Liverpool from afar, for me, when I look at Liverpool, they just lack the sort of pace that they used to have. Like when they used to have Mane, Robinho, Roberto, Firmino, and Salah, that was a phenomenal three where they all used to interlink and cause mayhem. I don't think the style of play that Liverpool play with Nunes suits him or Liverpool, if I'm being honest. And I think if you had a few other pace merchants around, then I think it's a different team altogether. I do like Diaz. Luis Diaz always have ever since, like, another player that we was looking at West Ham before Liverpool got in there again and got him. So for Darwin Nunes, it's one of them ones. It's like, are you trying to play to him, or is he trying to play to Liverpool's sort of style? It's a mixed one for me.
Yeah, it's great insight, that, Kev. It's good to get an outside point of view, really, in all honesty. As me and Kev and a lot of Liverpool fans banging, I'm pretty sure Nunes banged his head against a buzzy wall last night when he come back home and he was frustrated himself. But starting 11, Jay, in terms of your perspective, do you anticipate any rotation, or what's starting 11, do you reckon? And do you anticipate David Moyes to go with?
I think Fabianski starts. He is the cup goalkeeper. He's been playing the last few games because there's no Areola, which is a good thing, really, because he's done all right. Even though he held 5 at Fulham, Freiburg and Wolves, he done well. Like he commands his box very, very well. Fabianski. That's one thing I will give him. Left back Emerson. I think he's been one of the best signings I've seen at West Ham for a long time. £13 million. I think he's been good.
He's won it all as well, hasn't he, mate? Like, in terms of got one of those records.
He's actually completed every single trophy now. Like, he's won every sort of trophy to note. And like the conference final was the one that he sort of completed his sort of trophy collection. But yeah, he's been great. Sufal, interesting one with Sufal on the right hand side. He could have got sent off at the weekend, so there might be a change there. There might be a carer come in there, or he might stick with Sufal. I don't know why. I've got a feeling Mavropanos and Aguerd together. I don't see a Zoomer in there for some reason. I think Mavropanos is like the sort of cup centre half, so I can see that one coming in. If Darwin Nunes plays, that will suit us because he's very good in the air.
Oh,
I think the three across the middle sort of pick itself: Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, and Souček. And then you've got the front three of Bowen, Kudus, and Paqueta. I don't think there's going to be much change in that front six, if I'm being honest. Right? I can only see really one, if not two, changes at best, and I think that's more defensive and areas. But I think if he goes with Paqueta, Kudus, and Bowen, you've got three players there just hitting form at the right time. So I can't see much change in that. No, I think West Ham will care more about this game than the Man United game at 12:30 on Saturday.
As you should do, mate. As I said, trophy. Off the back of when I spoke to you early on in the season, make the winning habit. Winning the first trophy in a very long time, and what a trophy it was to win. I know we've got a thing. Just every football fan in England, we do tear our noses up at the Europa League, the conference, and even the League Cup in certain elements as well. But I think obviously this competition would have a lot more glitz and glamour if it had bigger sponsors, bigger prize money, a European. Well, I think the FA Cup, or is the League Cup still a European spot if you win it, or is it
Conference League? I think
Conference League. Yeah, so you never know, because I remember it was Cardiff or Swansea were in the Championship, and you were in the European trophy as well. Bit of a mad one. Kev, I think the final closing point is obviously. And that you want to ask Jay last question. There is one question that we'll get to as well, chat.
Yeah.
Get your comments in, but any last thoughts on pick the brains of Jay in terms of Wednesday night that you want to find out? Or
No, I think you pretty much asked everything that I was going to ask. I mean, the main one was, it was European spots, but are they going to get backed in the transfer market in January to be able to challenge for that Europa League, as well as Liverpool and the other strong teams that are going to be popping in there. But I mean, West Ham have held their own inside in the competition so far. I mean, the last results were all were all good. 2-0 against Freiburg and the 1-0 against who's the other team before that? Freiburg and I think it was you beat Olympiacos. Anyway, I know that.
You beat
Freiburg.
Olympiacos, yeah. And then,
1-0.
Spurs.
Topola or something, wasn't it? And there's another side that you beat there. So look, comfortably through in the group, comfortably into the knockouts. I don't know if we can get each other in this stage yet, is it? Or is it the next one we can get?
I think it's the last day you can get each other.
Same as Champions League. So last day. So that'll be interesting when it comes up. But there's a lot of other tasty teams coming down in there that can put like a spanner in the works as well. But maybe one of the smaller guns left can take them out, and we can avoid each other. And it'd be nice to see a final between Liverpool and West Ham, to be honest, in the Europa League. It'd be great progression from West Ham point of view after winning that, regardless of any results. It'd be a great progression winning that conference, then getting to another final and then solidifying the place in let's say the top 8, getting the Europa League spot outright, minimum, without even winning a trophy or anything like that. That'd be a great kind of, especially a good response to I like David Moyes, man. I think he's a good manager. I think he's highly underrated. I thought he was done wrong by Manchester United when he was there. He was the wrong. You don't be the next fella after Alex Ferguson. If anything, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should have gone in there after Ferguson. And
I've spoken to Jay about that, Kev, as well on numerous occasions. The fact that he was handpicked by Fergie, like that, said a lot about it. That David, obviously, he's not your sexy Pep Guardiola or your Jurgen Klopp. So he's not your sexy name in Europe. But if Ferguson hadn't picked Jay, I know it wasn't an abundance of quality at that moment in time. But I think if it took Ferguson 5 years to win a trophy, it took him a while at United pre-winning all those trophies. But I still think if David Moyes was still there and he was given time, I still think he eventually would have started to win trophies. I mean,
listen, I actually agree on that. Like, I look at what he's done at West Ham, and I've never seen it in the Premier League era. Like West Ham be this sort of consistent. Like, the word really is consistent with West Ham. West Ham are consistently doing all right. I know last season in the Premier League wasn't good, but I think the other issue of winning that conference was more important to a lot of people. And I think a lot of people, West Ham fans, are very fickle in certain aspects. Some fans would go, no, I want to see us progress in the league and win a trophy. if you'd have asked them at the beginning of the last season, if you're going to finish 14th and win a trophy, I think every fan would have took that hands down, like, because we haven't won a trophy since 1980. So I think he's doing okay, Moyes. I think he needs to stop a little bit of stubbornness. I think he does have a little stubborn streak in him from time to time, but I think the players that he's got, I think the next sort of 6 months is massive for where he is, because obviously his contract's running down, and we, as fans, we don't know whether he's staying, going, and who we're going to get. So it's going to be interesting to see if he gets us to a final of a competition, or we win a final. It's going to be very, very hard to see the geezer go without him not getting a contract or given one.
Yeah, I think even if he gets to the final, mate, and you just win a League Cup or an FA Cup this season, even Europa League, I wouldn't write you off anyway, because that would be unfathomable, really, him to get sacked. Got there in the end. To really get sacked, because ridiculous. Like, the club the size of yours, mate, obviously not everyone is in a privileged position like Manchester City or Liverpool or to be there and win trophies, mate. But I do understand. I remember Avram Grant and the dross managers you have, and I'm pretty sure you remember them, mate. It's such a, we know how fickle the Premier League can be and how things can be determined within seasons.
I think what it is, Jack. Yeah, I think where we've done okay. Well, we've done very well. Yeah, over the last sort of few years. I think a lot of fans fear that if we carry on going the way we're going, eventually the bubble's going to burst, and then we're going to drop down. And then once we drop down, we ain't going to be able to get a manager to come in of any higher caliber to take us back up again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%, mate. There was one last question as well, mate. It's been an absolute cracking show, and a massive thank you, everyone. Apologies, I haven't got around to every single one of your comments, but you've all smashed it tonight. And everyone watching on the repeat, very much appreciated, Jay. A lot of people have mentioned the ownership structure in terms of obviously and just the willingness to give transfers as well. What is the feeling around the ownership structure at the minute, mate? It has been one of question in previous years, and this goes hand in hand with obviously what you've alluded to there with David Moyes, the funds. I don't think he's had funds like that even at Everton Football Club, mate. Obviously, big money signings for Kudos, big money signings for obviously the lad from Ajax as well, mate. What's the feeling at the minute around West Ham in terms of the ownership structure? Is there going to be any change, or is it just going to settle down and be one and just be consistent?
I think with the owner situation, that's the reason why the contract hasn't been given to David Moyes just yet. Sullivan's going to have to go eventually. He's getting old, and West Ham's going to be there for a long time, but I don't think he will be. Yeah. The only problem I have with it at the minute is the way it's been handled with the manager currently right now. We've got a manager that's rolling his contract down. We don't know where we're going to be in a year's time. Right, and I think after Prague, you had two choices. You either back him all the way to the bank, give him a 2-year extension, and say, you know what, that's it, or you let him go and bring in a new manager in. What you're doing right now isn't the right move for me, because if it goes right, then people are going to say, well, you're going to have to give him a new contract, and certain fans are like, no, he's done we need to go up another level with a manager, and if you don't give him a new contract and he does do well, then people are going to be outcries. It's going to be outcries saying, well, why are you getting rid of a manager who's to give us that? So you can't win either way, if that makes sense. I think the ownership have put money into the club, don't get me wrong, but ever since we left Upton Park 7-8 years ago, it's about time they did. Do you know what I mean? I think if West Ham want to be that top 10, top 8 side, they're going to have to pump in 150, 200 million every transfer window. Do you know what I'm saying? That's
bare minimum now, would you say, mate, in the Premier League? I think even to get in the top 10, you need to put money in there, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're going to try and compete with the Premier League elite, you're going to have to pay the money. I think what West Ham are doing a bit clever over the last sort of year, 18 months, is they're signing decent players for low fees. Like, for instance, Mohamed Kudus at £38 million is worth every penny of £38 million, if that makes sense. And when you look at players like Anthony at Manchester United, he's not worth like £1 at the minute. So the owners are doing okay, don't get me wrong, but I think come the end of the season, if there's not an owner's sort of like a new owner coming in, then I don't know where we're going to be at in regards to the manager. I really don't.
100%, mate. 100%. Score prediction, Jay, for Wednesday. And you don't go. You can go for the win.
I think it goes all the way to pens.
Pens, yeah.
And I think we might just get it done on pens. I think if Fabianski's in goal, I think we've got half a chance. If Ariola's in goal, I don't think we've got a chance, especially if it goes to penalty shootout. I think West Ham are going to turn up. They're going to give it a good go. I think it might be 1-0 or something. Yeah, usually in these cup games, they never go like the Premier League games. I've noticed that when West Ham play Liverpool in cup competitions, it's always like quite a close-knit game. I remember a few games years ago at Upton Park in the FA Cup, and obviously the 2006 one still haunts us to this day. But yeah, I think it goes all the way to pens, and it's a toss of a coin then. If Liverpool do us on pens, then fair enough. But I can't see West Ham sitting there and being like the team they was back in sort of September. I really can't.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think, as I've said to you in the past, mate, Liverpool are very perceptible on the counter-attack. We can get got at. Look at City this season. When teams have actually had a go, teams have had a go at us in the past, and even this season, we can see goals like every other team, mate. Massive thank you, Jay. Please do shout out all your socials and what shows you got coming up this week, mate, and really do appreciate you taking the time out tonight to jump on, mate. Where can everyone find it?
No worries at all, Jack. E20 Zone TV. I'm going to be doing an opposition preview with both these gentlemen probably tomorrow. So come over there and see it from the West Ham side of things. And obviously the game is Wednesday, and I'll be doing like little phoning after and do a little player ratings and everything with a few of the lads. Yeah, go over and check us out and subscribe.
Absolute legend, mate. Thank you for coming on. I'll see you. Well, hopefully speak to you on Wednesday night, mate. Kev, everyone knows where you can find you, mate.
Yeah.
Kev is a yes, the pub. All of us. Obviously, Spider LFC, everyone on YouTube, but Kev is a massive part of the channel as well. So, as always, massive thank you, Kev. But most importantly, as always, everyone, use in the comments or anyone listening on the repeat on Spotify or whatnot, a massive thank you. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, and any hammers or whatnot that are travelling up to Liverpool this Wednesday. Safe travels.
Hammers one there, apparently. Hammers one, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, yeah. Tom's going to be wearing his West Ham jersey on Wednesday, won't he?
Everton fans for you, that lad. He'll just support anyone that plays Liverpool. He had a Man United top on last night as well. So celebrate as well. But a massive thank you, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your night. And everyone, head over on tomorrow evening, and the links on everything will be on E20 Zone TV. The links are in the description. Drop a follow, drop a subscribe as well to Jay. And Reds and Hammers, good luck for Wednesday, and looking forward to it. But Reds, you have a walk alone. Ta-ra.